Welcome back to the Kimchi Redneck's kitchen. Yeah, we're back in the kitchen and we're cooking something very southern today.
Woo!
We are making a fruit cobbler. All right, so you guys, I've waxed on about these before, but these are Korean peaches. This is goodness. This one from the translation is called a soft peach. We are going to make peach cobbler out of Korean peaches because when you have peaches and they're this big and this beautiful, you make amazing things out of them, like cobbler, and we love cobbler. For Koreans who may not know, cobbler is basically a fruit dessert that is easier to make than a pie. Pie takes a lot of time because you gotta make up pie dough, you gotta roll it all out, you gotta get it all ready, put it in there, make it tart, all that stuff. Cobbler, super easy. It literally is your fruit and a batter and some butter and it goes in the oven. It's beautiful. And then you serve it with ice cream because yes. So today we're doing my version of peach cobbler, and today's version is going to include amaretto because why not? So for starters, I've got my enameled cast iron here, and that's what everything's going to go in. I'm going to go ahead and put our melted butter in there. And I'm just going to, it's not completely 100% melted, but it's pretty melty, so I'm just going to kind of push it around and make sure that it has all the goodness on the sides. Now, some recipes will tell you to add your melted butter in with your batter. I usually don't do that. You can do that, but this is the way my mom taught me how to make cobbler, and I've kind of done it that way for a really long time now. For these peaches, we're going to add in about half a cup of sugar. We're going to put in a tablespoon of cornstarch. We're going to add a tablespoon of amaretto and a teaspoon of vanilla. Let's go ahead and get our vanilla in, since I picked it up first.
Hashtag not sponsored.
No, but Di Serono, if you want to sponsor me, come at me. We all know I have a love affair. I put a little, just a pinch extra. I really like amaretto.
It's not like she doesn't put it in just about everything.
And then I'm going to give this a toss because I kind of want all of that all over these peaches. So these peaches don't require a whole extra lot of sugar. The other thing to note with our Korean peaches is because they're soft, it's easy to break them.
They will mush very easily.
So I am not trying to mush anything here. Plus they've already been cut for a little while. I'm literally just tossing everything very gently.
Amusingly enough, at the grocery store, there were another thing of peaches called hard peaches. So they have hard peaches and soft peaches.
Yeah, but I really wanted the soft peaches. One of the things my mom used to tell me was a cobbler was a cuppa. And what that generally meant was it's a cup of flour, a cup of sugar, a cup of milk. The only thing you extra add to it would be your salt and your baking powder. So we have a cup of flour, a cup of sugar. Just dump the whole bowl in, works best. We have a half a teaspoon of salt as well as a half a teaspoon of baking powder. And there's our cup of milk. Now, if you were to use more of a self-rising flour, and then you're going to mix all that together. But if you use the self-rising flour, you would be able to skip the salt and the baking powder. I, on the other hand, don't typically use self-rising flour. So we don't usually have it in the house all that often. So I'm literally mixing this all together to make the batter. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to stick this in our oven and see if I can get that melty a little bit more.
So while Melissa is getting her pan out of the oven with her melty butter, we decided to put the peaches on the heat there for a few seconds to get the cornstarch to thicken up in the mix, in the syrup. So there will be warm peaches added to the shenaniganery.
I could have chosen not to do that, but I chose to do it just because. Our butter is completely melted now. I'm going to go ahead and add the batter. One of the things I always used to be fascinated when I was a child about cobbler was you put the batter in first, right? And it magically cooks over top of the fruit, which goes on top. And for some reason as a child, that was just magic to me. It was like a magic thing that happened. I was a kid. But as a kid, that's pretty exciting to see. So we've got our batter already in, and then I'm just going to spoon them all around You do not mix this. This is an important thing to note. You are basically just dumping this mixture in. Yes, you can do this with pie filling. So you do not have to do this with fresh fruit if you choose not to. So I could have dumped this all in. I could have. We're going to be doing a lot with seasonal fruit in this house.
Yeah. We're going to be cooking one way or another here a lot.
Like, I've spent my entire day in the kitchen. I made beans, like a 15 bean soup for dinner. I found a recipe. It looked interesting. Why not?
It's a good thing all the beans come in one bag, though.
Yeah, because if I had to find 15 different beans, I'd have been in trouble. So 15 bean soup for dinner, and I made homemade hummus. None of that came in a bag. Homemade roasted red pepper hummus. Yeah.
That smells pretty good.
Oh,
Of course, mainly what I'm smelling is vanilla and butter at the moment, and that's two of my favorite bread flavors.
Two of your favorite bread flavors? You're cute. Then, because my husband really thinks that this was supposed to have like I think he had an idea of crisp, which is different. Crisps are different than cobblers because they're crispy. Cobblers are cakey.
It's very possible. I get a lot of things cross-wired in my head.
But I'm going to throw a little bit of brown sugar on the top. Just to add another level of texture to it, basically.
You know what else it needs?
What?
Nuts!
I could put nuts in there. What do you want in there?
I don't know what goes well with peaches.
Almonds. I've never had peaches and walnut, but I'd give that a try. Never had peaches and pecans, but I'd try that.
We have any that are crushed? The thing with the crunchy is they got to be crushed. If they're slivers, they don't work right.
Let me check my nuts. Chopped walnuts.
Let's go with walnuts.
This crazy ass man of mine is making me put walnuts in my peach cobbler. This has now become a fruit and nut cobbler. So the thing I have to be careful of here is actually getting the nuts into the mixture because
You don't want it to get too far in. You want it to be on top and get crusty.
you don't want
Crunchy.
you don't want them to burn.
Crispy.
You don't want them to burn.
Crispy.
You don't want them to burn. Listen to me.
Crispy.
Burnt nuts are not good. Listen to Sookie. She's trying to tell you something. You're not even listening to her. She's like, stop arguing with my mama. Which one of you is a baker? All right, guys.
So that's what we look like before we go in the oven.
Now we're going in the oven for about 40 minutes. So it's out of the oven. Didn't figure you guys needed to see that part. So right now, if Chuck can get in a little bit closer here, what you can see is the batter has risen up around it. There's actually, it's not as dark in the middle in the batter, but more the peaches in the middle. And you can see the butter. So right now it needs at least 30 to 45 minutes to cool. Yes, peach cobbler hot is fabulous. Peach cobbler scalding hot melts your ice cream really quick and burns your tongue at the same time. So is it really worth it if you're burning your tongue? I say no.
Nah, I think it should cool down.
Yeah.
So while Melissa gets the plates ready here, let's do a quick little zoom in. You can see the consistency of that after it's set. Still got a little bit of butter sitting on the top of it, but it looks like the innards have solidified, jellified. Little ice cream and cobbler.
Well, can you serve ice cream or cobbler without ice cream?
You probably can, but you probably shouldn't. It's very sweet peachy, which I guess is kind of the point if you're making a peach cobbler.
I had to take a second bite because I had to determine whether or not the walnut was a good addition. It's not bad.
I mean, the case could be made for or against the walnut on top of it, but it doesn't hurt it.
I still think he is a crisp person versus a cobbler person.
Is it weird?
You want a cobbler crisp?
Well, no, that sounds perfectly like something I would want. That you can taste this and you can tell it's white peach. It's not like the yellower style or the hard style. You bite this and you can tell that this is a white peach.
And it's a heavenly peach.
'Tis a distinct flavor. 'Tis not generic peach. This is Korean white peach.
Which is weird because, you know, Chuck is not a huge peach fan. That's me.
That doesn't mean I can't tell the difference in the flavors. It is good. You should have some. But not this one, because this is ours. Go get your own. Or cook your own. If you can get Korean peaches. Find a Korean mart. Get some Korean peaches. Korean fruit is awesome.
Of course, if you live in South Carolina or Georgia, get some of those peaches because those are awesome as well.
Those are good too, but this is definitely a different flavor than you're used to if you're used to eating Georgia or Carolina peaches.
This is heavenly.
I could definitely eat a little bit more of this.
Oh, okay.
But thanks for watching us make peaches. Like, subscribe, do the internet thing. Y'all come around. I totally screwed that one up.
We made peaches?
Yes, we did.
Where was I when you made the peaches? I was pretty sure we bought those at the market. It's been a long day.
She made peach cobbler. This is cobbler, right?
It is Cobbler.
We made peach cobbler. Thanks for watching Melissa mainly make peach cobbler. And we're going to finish this and go watch some TV. Like, subscribe, do the internet things. We'll see you around next time.